I'm Cathy Thomas. Katy Smith, Executive Creative Chef at Puesto, now with 2 restaurants in Irvine, as well as others outside OC. Although many link the eateries with their hip tacos and craft cocktails, I'm drawn to their irresistible take on Pescado a la Veracruzana, fish Veracruz style. Welcome, Chef. I'm so delighted you're here.
Thank you for having me.
And is this a traditional version?
This is a very traditional version of Veracruzana.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's one of my favorites.
Me too. As is the basis of any good sauce, we start with aromatics. In Mexican cuisine, we do a lot of white onion. There's something about the flavor of the white onion that's really bright, and it lends itself very well to Mexican cuisine.
Okay, you want some fire over here?
I'd like some heat, please.
All right.
So this is just a cooking olive oil that we use in the restaurant.
A little salt.
It'll just help break down the onions. So while the onions are cooking, I'm just going to get the rest of my mise en place ready. So I'm going to quarter these olives.
And these are nice, big pimento stuffed olives.
Yes.
Makes me hungry for a martini.
Oh, so these are jalapenos and escabeche. This is in some recipes for this dish and some do not use this. This is really what makes it feel Mexican to me.
And if you bought a jar that just said pickled jalapenos,
Yes,
you'd be in the right track.
you would.
All right.
The other thing I love about jalapenos and escabeche is they come in a can that also has carrots and onions. And I think it's like this amazing workhorse that just add a ton of flavor to anything you're cooking.
And you've got a little caramelization going there.
Yeah. I am partial to a nice slice on garlic, especially in a sauce that's gonna cook for a while. I'm gonna put all of this in my pan. I'm going to add 2 bay leaves and some Mexican oregano. Mexican oregano, you're gonna see, has some stems in it that will need to be pulled out, so they don't just go straight in there. You've got to rub them together like this. Now I use canned fire roasted diced tomatoes.
Ah, yes.
If you were in Mexico, you'd have access to really beautiful, ripe tomatoes year round. We don't necessarily have that luxury even here in California.
So sometimes the canned is a better option.
Sometimes the can is a better option.
So 20 minutes, do you want this simmering?
I want this really low simmer. This dish super traditionally is done with snapper. But I love black cod. I think it's delicious and meaty, and it was what I was craving when I knew I was gonna come here today.
Cool.
I'm gonna generously season both sides of this fish, and then I've got a pan that I'm getting really hot. I'm gonna start with the skin side down. I wanna get the skin really nice and crispy, and I'm gonna cook the fish almost the entire way through skin side down. Flip it just for a few minutes to cook it, and then we'll be done and take it off.
Beautiful.
You can tell when it's ready because the skin will come off fairly easily. And if the skin is really tight in you, then it's not ready yet.
If you weren't going to do the fish, what else could you have with the Veracruzana sauce?
This sauce with rice is beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
We do it in our restaurant frequently with grilled shrimp. I love it with shrimp. You can also take the sauce to where we've gone it, put your raw fish in there and stick it in the oven and bake your sauce that way. Chicken would not be horrible in this if you're not into seafood.
Right.
I think it's a lovely sauce. I'm gonna get my last few things in here. One of those being some fresh lime. I want zest and some juice. So this sauce right now, before we add some of the last ingredients to it, it's gonna be really savory, really flavorful with the garlic and the pickles. So it's gonna need something bright. A little bit of cilantro, and I'm going to do a little bit of parsley. I'm going to add my capers. These I don't add while I cook it the whole time because I find that it gets just too salty. About a tablespoon or 2 of the pickling liquid from the jalapenos. I'm sure you've heard a million chefs tell you that the thing to do is to taste as you go and season at every step. This is probably the one dish where I would say don't.
Just wait till the end.
Wait till the end. We have so many highly seasoned items in this dish that it's gonna taste different as it continues to cook. I think it's great. Okay, so I'm gonna put some of this straight down on our plate. Can you tell I'm not really a tweezers kind of a chef?
It's okay, Katie. It's okay.
Fish, and then a little bit more of the sauce. Fresh parsley leaves. And then I have a really nice olive oil from Baja California that I am just going to finish this plate with.
Beautiful. You know what? It looks beautiful, and I know it's going to taste delicious. Thanks so much, Chef.
Thank you.
Here's a quick tip from Melissa's. Kumquats are luscious, and they're like an inside-out orange because the sweet part is on the outside, while the tart part is on the inside. I love to make kumquat rosemary marmalade. It's delicious served atop goat cheese on an open-faced sandwich or as an accompaniment to all kinds of roast poultry. I start by cutting off 2 or 3 slices off one end, 2 or 3 slices off the other end, and then I see a seed here and I'm going to pick that out with the tip of my knife. Look on the other side, there's another one. And then I'm going to cut that last center section in half. I've got about 26 kumquats or 12 ounces. Over here I have some simple sugar syrup that was made with 1/3 cup of granulated sugar and 1/3 cup of water. And I just simmer that until the sugar dissolved in the water. And now I can go ahead and add my kumquats. I want to add some aromatics to this. So I'm going to add a little bit of coarse pepper. You could take a couple of whole peppercorns and just smash them, and you could use those. And I'm also going to add a nice sprig of rosemary. So we're going to give that a little toss to kind of mix it around. And I'm going to let these cook until the sugar syrup has thickened almost to a syrup and the kumquats are softened and translucent. So our marmalade is looking gorgeous. I want to fish out the sprig of rosemary, but I want to add some fresh rosemary. So I've got a nice sprig here. I'm going to pull in the opposite direction of the way it grows and give them a good chop. I want to end up with about 1/2 teaspoon to 3/4 teaspoon. In that goes, and a good stir. We're going to use the marmalade I made yesterday because we want it to be nice and cooled off to make this open-faced sandwich. And I have a piece of rustic bread here that I have toasted. I like to toast it so that it's really crunchy on the top. And then we've got some goat cheese. And if you're not a goat cheese fan, you could use cream cheese. And I think you could even use something like a nice slice of Havarti. And now, some beautiful kumquat rosemary marmalade. So you've got all kinds of flavor going for you here. So how nice is that? Easy. The produce aisles are filled with so many delicious choices. Try something new, have an adventure.